Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of our conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of God in Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of life. Srimvatam Swakata Krishna.
Sankita Katita Krishna.
Punya Shravana Kirtana. Vidyanta Stoya Bhadrani. Vidunoti Suritsatam. Shri Krishna, the personality of God, is the Paramatma Supersoul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashtapreshu Vajreshu.
Nashtapreshu Vajreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Utamashloke.
Bhagavati Utamashloke.
Bhakti Bhagavati Naishtiki.
Bhakti Bhagavati Naishtiki.
By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of God with praise with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. So, before I start, we got some yes here, and I don't know.
It's Bhakti, this is Srimad and his sons. I mean, one son.
Oh, Srimad.
I can't. Oh, there you go. Okay. I got cataracts starting. It's really hard to see if there's any light at all in the window. I can't see who's across the room.
And then it's, what's your son's name again? Sesha. And, how can I forget that? And Bhakta Ivan.
Oh, okay. Some guy I didn't recognize. I've seen your son. I didn't recognize. Well, Hare Krishna. Nice to see you again.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I heard you gave class the other day, and I didn't hear it since. Planning on cooking and all that stuff. So.
It's on the YouTube.
We can see it on
I thought
YouTube.
somebody said it wasn't recorded. It is.
It is.
Okay, good.
I saw it last night.
Okay. So I'm prepared for a little group of verses, but I think we're on
26.
26. That's what I thought. Okay, we've got to read from here, which is a little hungry. 9, 26.
Bless you.
Patalam etasya ki pada mulam patalam etasya pada mulam patanti parshni prapade rasatalam patanti parshni prapade rasatalam mahatalam vishva srijo ta kulpo mahatalam vishva srijo ta kulpo talatalam vai purushasya janghe talatalam vai purushasya janghe patalam etasya padamulam patanti parshni prapade rasatalam mahatalam vishvasrijo takulpo talatalam vai purushasya janghe patalam etasya padamulam patanti parshni prapade rasatalam mahatalam Mahatalam Vishvasvijota Gupo.
Mahatalam Vishvasvijota Gupa.
Talatalam Vai Purushasya Janghe. Patalam Etasya Hipadamulam. Patanti Parshni Prapadeva Satalam. Mahatalam Vishvasvijota Gupo. Talatalam Vai Purushasya Janghe. Please chant.
Patalam etasya hipadamulam. Patanti parshni prapade vasatalam. Mahatalam vishvasvijota gupa. Kalatalam vai purushasya janghe.
Patalametasya hipadamulam. Tanti parshni prapadeva satalam. Mahatalam vishvasvijota gopa. Kalatalam vai purushasya janghe. Patalametasya hipadamulam. Tanti parshni prapade vasatalam. Mahatalam va vishvasvijota gupa. Talatalam va purushasya janghe.
Mahatalam etasya hipadamulam. Tanti parshni prapade vasatalam. Mahatalam vishvasvijota gupa. Talatalam vai purushasya janghe.
Patanti prashni prapadeva satalam.
Mahatalam vishvasvijota gupo.
Mahatalam vishvasvijota gupa.
Talatalam vai purushasya janghe.
Talatalam vai purushasya janghe.
Patanti parshni prapadeva satalam. Mahatalam vishvasvijota gupa. Talatalam vai purushasya janghe.
Okay. Word meanings. Patalam. The planets at the bottom of the universe.
The planets at the bottom of the universe.
Etasya. Of his. He. Exactly. Padamulam. Soles of the feet. Patanti. They study it. Parshni.
Parshi,
the heels,
the heels,
Prapade,
Parvade,
the toes,
the toes,
Rasatalam,
Rasatalam,
the planets named Rasatala,
the planets named Rasatala,
Mahatalam,
Mahatalam,
the planets named Mahatala,
the planets named Mahatala,
Vishvasrijaha,
Vishvasrijaha,
of the creator of the universe,
of the creator of the universe,
Ata,
Ata, thus,
Gupho,
Ruho,
the ankle,
the ankles,
Talatalam,
Talatalam,
the planets named Talatala,
the planets named Talatala,
by
as
they
are,
Purushasya,
Purushasya,
of the gigantic person,
of the gigantic person,
Janghe,
Danghe,
the shanks.
the shanks.
Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Translation: persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets. Please repeat. Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets. Report. Outside the bodily existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the manifested cosmic existence has no reality. Everything and anything of the manifested world rests on him, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9:4. But that does not apply that everything and anything in the vision of a materialist is the Supreme Personality. The conception of the universal form of the Lord gives a chance to the materialist to think of the Supreme Lord. But the materialist must know for certain that his visualization of the world in a spirit of lording over it is not God realization. The materialistic view of exploitation of the material resources is occasioned by the illusion of the external energy of the Lord. And as such, if anyone wants to realize the supreme truth by conceiving of the universal form of the Lord, he must cultivate the service attitude. Unless the service attitude is revived, the conception of Virat realization will have very little effect on the seer. The transcendental Lord, in any conception of his form, is never a part of the material creation. He keeps his identity as Supreme Spirit in all circumstances and is never affected by the three material qualities, for everything material is contaminated. The Lord always exists by his internal energy. The universe is divided into 14 planetary systems. 7 planetary systems called Bur, Bhuvar, Swa, Mahar, Janas, Tapas, and Satya are upward planetary systems, one above the other. There are also 7 planetary systems downward, known as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala, gradually, one below the other. In this verse, the description begins from the bottom, because it is in the line of devotion that the Lord's bodily description should begin from his feet. Shukadeva Goswami is a recognized devotee of the Lord, and he is exactly correct in the description. So, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So I started first the thinking of the Lord's feet first. Sometimes I used to wonder how we can do that, because you go to see the deities and all is beautiful around the head, and that's the first thing you look at. And when you see a person, the first thing you look at is the face. So how do you look at the feet first? So I struggled with that. And I also saw that, though, that when we study the Bhagavatam, we're studying first and second cantos first, and is considered the lotus feet of the Lord. So it's an attitudinal thing that we study with the lowest level and the beginning level first. And I guess if you could do it, if the curtain opens and you could see the deity, so that your eyes go to the feet first and you meditate upwards, but I can never catch it. It's always, I look at the whole thing, I look at the face. But our attitudinal approach should be to start with the basis, start with the feet, start with the beginning. And so that's what we're doing now with the Bhagavatam, we're in the lotus feet of the Bhagavatam. If the Bhagavatam is the form of the Lord, then we're in the lotus feet in cantos 1 and 2, the foundation, the beginning. And that begins, it's a respectful thing, start with the beginning like that. So that's one of the points here. The other point is about the universal form, or the, let's look at the universal form too, let's see. Just from a different angle. How the Lord is one with the universal form, everything is Him, and yet He's never a part of it. So right away we have some Achintya Veda Tattva here, because He's one with and yet not. So we have this in the Bhagavad Gita also. So it mentions here 9.4, and there's also a couple others. 9.4 says, I guess it's first. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavashtitaha. By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Which is obviously a contradiction, because he's a super soul within the heart of every being. So this is like a Chincha Veda Veda Tattva. True this way and true that way, both. It's like, let's see, what's the other one? 7:7. Mata parvata ramnanyat kinchirasti dhananjaya mayi sarvam idam kotam sutre mani dhanaiva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So the thread goes inside the pearls, and you can't see the thread, but it holds the pearls together. Everything is orderly because that thread is there. The pearls are in a row, they look really pretty in a row, and same thing in the material creation. Everything's in a row in its own way, and everything is beautiful. And the more you take with a magnifying glass or a microscope or something, the more you examine nature, including the human body, the more you see everything is in a row. Everything is geometrically arranged and perfect and beautiful and in a row. Everything is a design. And there's somebody, is a string of pearls, and in that string of pearls, there is a thread. And that thread holding the pearls together, otherwise it'd be all over the floor and be a mess. There's pearls all over. So the material energy, if it could exist at all without the Lord being in it, it would be all scattered. So the Lord is within it, invisibly holding it together. So at the same time, like we just read it, I think it's okay, 9.4 and 9.5. This is what I was thinking of. Right here. So 9.4 is by me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. And we just read 7.7 and it came out. Everything rests upon him like pearls are strung on a thread. So this is 9.5. Nacham matstani bhutani pashyame yoga aishvaram bhuta brinacha bhutasto mahatma bhuta bhavanaha. And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation, within and yet without at the same time. So it's there's a reason why we call it Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. It's impossible to conceive of this all at once. We just have to try to understand it, because the human mind can conceive of within and not within, but we can't conceive of both within and not within at the same time. So it's inconceivable. So that's what it means. So So everything and anything does not imply that everything and anything in the vision of the materials is the Supreme Personality. I'm getting to the point here in this paragraph. The conception of the universal form of the Lord gives a chance to the materialist to think of the Supreme Lord. But the materialist must know for certain that his visualization of the world in a spirit of lording it over it is not God realization. So what we see in the service attitude and what we see in the lording it over attitude is not exactly the same. Although it looks the same because we're using the same eyes. But we're seeing we're seeing things in terms of our use instead of seeing things in terms of it being the external it's kind of like an external manifestation of the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we have that attitude, we'll be cultivating a service attitude. Like, there's 9 kinds of devotional service, and there's 3 rasas, or 5 rasas. So the 9 kinds start with hearing, chanting, remembering, and then Padasevana, being at the lotus feet of the Lord. These are not really active, they're like, you're there. And then you start doing deity service, archana, vandana, offering prayers, dasyam, offering prayers is also, because you can be the personalistic pantheist that previous verses were talking about. You can be that because you can appreciate God in nature. You can pray to God in nature, and then you're not confusing it that nature is God, that means nature created itself. Because you're thinking God is a creator and God is within nature. So you're praising the beauty of nature, you're praising the beauty that God has created and is maintaining. So even if that's all the understanding that you have, that's a service attitude. Versus, my God is nature, and there was a big bang, and there was evolution, and the chemicals learned how to make cells, and then they learned how to blend together in their bodies. As if cells could learn these things all by themselves. Because developed humans can't learn these things by themselves, learn how to work together to be a community. That's hard for developed humans. How do cells figure that out? So, and cells can't even think. So how do cells learn how? That's what they like to say. There's some chemicals, and somehow they made cells, and the cells learned how to work together in their bodies. I doubt it. So that kind of attitude that some person who says, my God is nature evolved itself, then that is not a service attitude. That's totally materialistic. And they will not see nature the same way, although their eyes look the same way, all that, but they will not be seeing the same nature. Because they're seeing it as something that they can exploit, instead of seeing it as something where they can pray to God. So it's a difference in the heart that one knows, if one has that one attitude or the other. So it's a service attitude that makes this conception of the universal form. There's 2 words I tried to look up the difference between them. I couldn't find anything to explain the difference. Virat and Vishva both seem to mean universal. And I don't really know more than that, but you see Virat Rupa, you see Vishva Rupa, they both mean the universal form. So this conception of the universal form is called in this chapter the first step in God realization. It wouldn't be the first step if someone is just looking at nature as God itself. And there's no service attitude then. It all depends on the service attitude. And hearing, you hear that God exists. So you're growing up, you hear that God exists and God created. Okay, that's the first part of hearing. And you chant it, well, at least you say it again, you repeat it. And you remember it. And you kind of situate yourself at the lotus feet of it in appreciation. God's going to take care of me. I'm here. I appreciate God. And you maybe offer some prayers. God, you're so wonderful and beautiful because look at all you did. So you can do, even at that level, you can do some beginning kinds of devotional service to some degree, even at that level. And that's before you really have a spiritual master. So like that's kind of like not much more than just Brahman realization, but one can figure that out without a spiritual master. It's kind of like confidential knowledge. The more confidential knowledge you really need. I guess there's a question. Yeah.
No, I have an issue.
Oh, okay.
I think that there is a spiritual master. One didn't just like the cells didn't create everything. We didn't just get these conceptions, although I guess it's possible for
We
a
learn
person.
from our mother,
But
our
generally, we
pastor.
learned it from our parents, or we learned it from some priest, a minister.
That's
So
true.
there was spiritual masters,
That's true.
maybe not dicture, but
Yeah.
certainly some sort of instructing.
Yeah, not a high knowledge kind of spiritual, but something, yes, you're right. Because otherwise we wouldn't even have the idea of God. So that's true, thanks. It's very, very simple.
You said the other day, one of your classes the other day, you said that your mother taught you the geometry of
The seeds,
Yeah.
weed stuff, yes. So that's true. So that
a
was
good
the,
example.
that's a good example. What she did, I was like a little kid. And my mother was, I guess she was working on this idea God exists, and my dad didn't really believe it, so she was really working on this idea. And so we'd walk in the woods or something, and she would point out the weeds, and she would point out, look how perfect these seeds are. Because if you look at like weed seeds, anytime, the seeds are arranged pretty geometrically, all even and everything. And sometimes there's a pattern to it. And so I had the idea from her saying this. I was little, I sort of thought God wandered around the woods creating perfect little weed seeds. You know? I didn't know if he looked more like Santa Claus or like like a wispy old man or something wearing white robes. I wasn't really sure exactly what he would look like, but there was God, and he created the beauty in nature, and so I had that idea. So thank you very much. So there is a spiritual master of some degree there involved. And we listened. So we listened with obedience, and I was outwardly obedient as a small child. Inwardly, I wondered, maybe they just grew that way. Because, kids are rebellious. And I was at that age, maybe this. So, but I listened, and I thought about it. So to a certain degree, I was obedient to the thought till I internalized it. And it became my own thought. Then I could see that myself. And so then as I got older, and I read things, I kind of evolved that thought from God as an old man wandering around in the woods, making the weeds pretty, to when I got bigger, he was like the force within everything, the creator and the force within everything that makes it beautiful, but somehow personal enough to have feelings. And so I would pray mostly like, help me with my problems, or mostly like, this is so beautiful, thank you for how beautiful, like that. So meditation on the Rupa in that sense, it was happening even then. So I didn't have a Vaishnava spiritual master, not like we had in Bhagavatam, but I had something started me. And it took some obedience, and it was a kind of beginning level of some of the kinds of devotional service. So I guess that something. So, the other point that these steps are there in God realization. Here we are lost in the material world because why? We wanted to be God. We were just a little jealous of Krishna for being the center, and we thought maybe we could do that. So we came here. We were sent here to try. And by contact with the modes of nature, being tiny spirit souls, not serving our protector, we got stuck in material nature, being attracted to the modes of nature and material desires and sense gratification and all that. And so we got so lost. So to come back up, okay, there's never, this is what I'm realizing lately, there's never a gap where you have to jump really far. That insurmountable gap between where I am now and where I should be. There are steps, there are gradual steps. From any level, there's always something. From a gross materialist level, you can say, well, maybe God is in nature. Right there, you can listen to somebody telling you that, you can think about, well, maybe there's a God who made nature. And on up, and as we, even all the way up to where we're chanting the Maha Mantra, trying to think of Radha and Krishna, and feeling so unready for the things we've heard about the pastimes that go on up there, and feeling so unqualified, and here we are. Well, actually, the whole Maha Mantra, it's funny that I just lately had this realization on Lord Ramachandra's appearance that the Rama in the Maha Mantra, which I a long time ago I had decided, oh, it's too complicated to think Krishna Rama, so I just think Rama is a name of Krishna and that'd be simple. But I missed something in doing that, because the opportunity is there that Lord Ramachandra is an easier understanding. We don't have to try to understand a guy who has many wives or many girlfriends. If we're not really ready to understand that, we can understand the same God having one wife. Okay, good. So if we're not ready for that, we can understand, okay, God is a highly moral king who's a wonderful father figure who has only one wife and is a perfect example. Okay, that's sort of like, can be a relief for people who are encountering Krishna consciousness and don't know what to make of this Krishna who has all these girlfriends who are married to others. So that's, every step of the way, there's something you can grasp. There's something you can relate to. And like in 12, I will read in 12, let's see. Krishna gives a sequence of, if you can do this, if not, you can do that. So I'll just read it, let's see. Just read the English. 12:9. 12:8. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Sounds good, but it's a big jump for us who are mixed up with material things all the time. So 12:9. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, as well as deviating, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Okay, that's too hard. 12:10. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, and there are lots of people who just can't really do that, etc., then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. 12:11. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. So, 12, if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge, which is logical, because if you have knowledge, then you can do it well. And obviously you can't really because you don't have knowledge yet. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, for by such renunciation one can attain peace of mind. So it kind of went down to the bottom. Okay, you can't do that basic thing, and you must not have any knowledge. So try to get some knowledge. It's even better if you can meditate. Just to be a jnani and have knowledge is not good to try to meditate, but better than that is give up the fruits, because then you're in action, acting it, doing it. And that starts you back up. And I guess you could go back up the sequence there. So there is no stage where we don't have a next step that we can take. That's what's really nice about Krishna consciousness. There's no big jumps that we have to somehow make and not fail to make the gap. So we always have a way. We always have a level that we can get to and then get to the next level. So I think maybe that was my theme for today. I guess open up for discussion, questions, comments. Yeah, you could do
that. Comment. In the new DDG, I think it's in the one, may have been the one before. I think you probably have both those magazines. Satyaraj Prabhu has an article on the holy name, and he mentions that Rama can also be a name of Radhika. And I forget how he translated it, but the joy of Radha, Hare, Radha. So he translates it, but he's not translating himself, he's taking a Gaudiya Vaishnava translation, a little bit more of an esoteric one, but it can be a name for Krishna who is the pleasure of Radharani. Something like that. I forget exactly how he presented the translation, but he does make that point in that article.
I have seen that Rama means, we all know Rama means the reservoir of all pleasure, so the ultimate reservoir of all pleasure is Krishna himself. But I have also seen where Prabhupada said, okay, Rama can mean Balaram or it can mean Lord Ramachandra. He didn't say anything then.
Yeah, he mentioned that also in the same article.
Yeah. So actually, Do you still have your, or,
You go first.
okay.
I also heard that Srimad Bhagavatam Thakur was saying that Rama refers to the goddess of fortune and Srimad Radharani is the supreme goddess of fortune. So we'll say Radha, Rama, we're also meditate on Radha Krishna. They invoke the mantra.
Hare
And
Krishna.
they're either together or separated. Hare Krishna, and then there's the Krishna Krishna separated from. Hare.
Yeah, and then when they're separated, they're more intense.
And also the whole Hare Krishna and the whole Hare Rama.
Yeah. So Hare Krishna and Hare
I
Krishna. I
think
didn't
it's
see you
one of the
either.
books
I
by
can't see
Bhaktivinoda
you.
Thakur.
Huh?
I can't really remember the reference, but it's one of the books by Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
I was greeting you because I didn't see you because I can't see so well. So Hare Krishna. Nice to see you again.
So I personally love the Ram pastimes, and anytime I like hearing or watching the Ramayan, I felt like I'm just being Krishna conscious. However, I heard somebody, just want to have it cleared up, somebody said, oh, you got to watch out for other incarnations because it's detrimental for your progress to Krishna Loka. I
No.
don't have that cleared up.
No, that's not correct. Actually, there are devotees, like in Lord Chaitanya's pastime, Mahari Gupta is actually Hanuman, who is, I think if I remember this himself, is Hanuman, who is totally dedicated to Sita Rama and can't go anywhere else. And there's somebody else too, like Anukumar or something.
Yeah, he was. He passed away. One of the brothers of Sanatan and the Swami.
Yeah. So there are those who that really is there. And Grandfather Bhishma, when he was dying on his bed of arrows, Krishna appeared to him in his four-armed form. So there is mobility in the spiritual world. Suppose you are meant to be in Goloka Vrindavan, and I have seen at least somewhere that Prabhupada said that we all came originally from Goloka Vrindavan, and in the Vaikuntha planets, they're not all the way away to their original. So if that's true, you get there eventually, because there's mobility in the spiritual world too. So no, there's all these levels of wherever your heart can relate. You go there, and when it comes time to go to the next level, it will happen. It's not wrong. It's still Krishna. He's one. Yeah.
That's Srila Prabhupada's his liberality of helping us to be Krishna conscious. That devotee, there's a purport in the Bhagavad Gita where Prabhupada says that. The Prabhupada says in numerous other purports about fixing the mind on at least one of the forms of God. But there's certainly no devotee of Vaishnavas that just won't move from Radha and Krishna. I have an experience of one of our swamis in our movement that I was asking him something about Hanuman. I like Hanuman a whole lot. And he couldn't hardly even hear me. He wouldn't deviate from it. Was like Hanuman didn't exist or something. He was just like so fixed on just Radha Krishna Lila, and we really don't concern ourselves.
So there are some that are super fixed at that. Because I thought the other guy was just joking or something. I didn't know if he was just messing with me for the bonus line.
There are some people that are very fixed like that.
I just want to add to that real quick. I was just reading recently, it's the Vrindavan Mahimanrita by Kamadana Saraswati Thakur, and he talks about how, his whole thing, his whole mood. And he even says that if anybody speaks about anything besides Goloka and the residents there, I cannot hear them. So that removes in that mood.
There's personal, emotional devotion like that too. But also, I heard if you love somebody, you love everything they give too. So yeah.
Excuse me. Satsvarup Maharaj had an audio tape series many years ago. Listened to it 30 years ago. So my memory might not be exact, but from what I read, he was reading letters from Prabhupada, very early letters, some of them written from India before he came to the United States. And Prabhupada said that the Rama we are chanting to in the Mahamantra is Balaram.
But I've seen it. He also said Ramchandra.
He also said that.
Yes,
I've seen it recently.
Yeah,
It could be either one. And somewhere I saw that it can mean reservoir of all pleasure can mean Krishna, because ultimately he is the reservoir of all pleasure.
And also referred to Goddess Rama.
Parshuram.
If you want, yeah. Krishna said, whatever form of Krishna the devotee becomes attached to. But Parshuram is, I think he's a Shakti-Vishnu.
Yeah,
So
so-
it might not be, yeah. But any form of Krishna that someone becomes attached to, Krishna in the heart becomes that. So super soul, even though super soul is an expansion from an expansion from an expansion of Vishnu forms, if you develop love in your heart, super soul can turn into that form. Can turn into Radha Krishna or Sita Ram or whatever your devotion is to a real form of Krishna. If that's your devotion. Or it could be a stage you're going through, or it could be you found your home. You don't know.
Yeah, I think also in the month that we're going to mention Maha-Prakash, which then revealed his universal form at Srinivasa's house. Murari Gupta, that's when he saw himself as Hanuman in Ram Lila, which he then revealed that to him. And his grandfather Bhishma, my understanding is I just read it somewhere, but he went to the Vaikuntha planet, Parthasarth, where Krishna is the Charya tribe. That's his profession, is seeing Krishna as the Charya tribe. That's what his meditation is. He's in the mood of chivalry.
So it all fits in. It all fits in. You don't have to. In fact, there's a story of Gopa Kumara. It's a humble, simple cowherd boy, and then he got to give him a mantra, and the mantra turned out to become a cowherd boy in Goloka Vrindavan. But he didn't really understand the mantra. He just kept saying it. He didn't know why he liked it. He just kept saying it. Wherever he went, he said it. But in his journey, he kept encountering whatever level he was at. He encountered somebody representing the next level. And so he just went to the next, and he was always still chanting his mantra. So if he wasn't at that place yet, he wasn't that eternally satisfied. He was always excited. It was always wonderful because it was Krishna of some sort. Even he went to the Ramajyoti and he was attracted, but then at the same time he didn't want it because it wasn't satisfying. But he was like almost pulled into it, but then no. And he went all the way up to Vaikuntha, and he was so thrilled, but then he wasn't satisfied. And then he went to Ayodhya, and then he went to Dwarka, and then he went to go to Goloka Vrindavan, and he had to come back down to an earthly planet where the Vrindavan pastimes were happening to get his final purification. And then he went to Goloka Vrindavan in the spiritual world, and Krishna welcomed him home. So that was that story. So it was all stages, and we can go straight, or we can go by stages, or whatever. But it's done by love and devotion, under the spiritual master. Prabhupada gives us all this information. Yeah.
Prabhupada said once you take that first step, you're captured. You continue.
Yeah,
Whether it's life after life or whatever, could be instantaneous or it could be gradually over.
So what if somebody does a serious offense? If somebody does a serious offense, but there's no loss or diminution, but a serious offense destroys everything to the Vaishnava offense. My understanding of those two things, I come up with the idea that, well, they have to lose it for a while, but it's not lost for a long time before they come back.
Yeah.
Prabhupada told Nitai they have to wait 700,000 lifetimes.
Fortunately, some lifetimes can be really, really short. Something takes only a few hours, that might help. Right. Anyways. So anybody else?